Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Stacy and this is my YouTube channel. It's really just my favorite things. So from knitting, hand dyeing, rock climbing, and houseplants and gardening, I just love it all. So I like to share those aspects of my life here on YouTube. Today, the video is brought to you by my lovely patrons over on Patreon who have gotten this video first. And it is all about my favorite trailing, vining houseplants that are incredibly common and affordable that you can find at just about any place that has plants. You'll be able to find at least one of these. So my first, I should also mention that I'm coming to you from a Zone 6B. I'm in Detroit, Michigan. And so we are in the dead of winter right now. It is February 27th and they're not getting the most sun, but they're still incredibly happy. All of these plants are very easy to take care of. They tell you when they need water, which I really love, and they're just beautiful. So first up is the show stealer. This is my Hoya Exotica. It's not a Hoya. This is my scindapsus Exotica. It is beautiful. It has giant leaves that have dark foliage with this beautiful silver splashing. I don't think there's a more beautiful common houseplant out there than the scindapsus pictus family, I guess. It's just so stunning. So I would recommend any of the scindapsus that you can find. Scindapsus pictus, the Exotica, Silvery Ann, trying to think of what else, Argyrius. All of them are just so beautiful and so easy to take care of. The leaves will kind of curl. I just watered this yesterday, so this one isn't quite back, but they'll curl up when they need water. And they're just great. They have pretty thick leaves, so that makes them hold water for a decent amount of time. And yeah, they're beautiful. I cannot say enough about them. The scindapsus pictus argyrius, which is a much smaller leaf with less silver. It's more green with a little bit more speckling rather than these splashes. One of my first houseplants. And unfortunately, it didn't make it in the move to Detroit, which we did this summer. So that is a plant that I'm hoping to replace soon. But any scindapsus pictus that you can find, some places will call it a satin pothos, and that is not accurate. But if you see a plant like this with the silver splashing on the leaves, it is probably a scindapsus pictus. I love it. I haven't had much trouble with these plants at all. I love them. This one is sitting on my dining table, which has east-facing and south-facing windows. The south-facing windows, though, are pretty obstructed. We live in the city, so our neighbors are pretty close. So it doesn't get a ton of south exposure, but it does get eastern exposure, which I think is the best for plants. Next is, I'm gonna do my Hoya because I accidentally said Hoya. I'll even give you a bonus Hoya. So this is my Hoya Compacta. This is my favorite plant ever. If I could only have one plant, it would be my Hoya Compacta. I've had this bad girl for about almost 2 years now, like a year and a half, a little bit longer. I love her so much. So she is in this beautiful clay pot from Target, believe it or not. And yeah, it's just beautiful. It has these really curly, compact leaves that almost look like tortellini, and it's just beautiful. And the sound the leaves make, I love it. It makes me very happy. It is a slow grower, likes a lot of sun. It is actually doing incredibly well on my desk right in front of me, which is facing north. I wouldn't normally put plants in a north-facing window, but this one is doing so well there. It's been there since we moved in May, and it is loving its life. It's grown a little bit. It has some new growth coming in. It's doing very well here, and I'm not going to question it. We also get some western exposure because Detroit is like on a slant. It's on an angle. It's just a little weird. So we kind of also get sun from the west. So we get very hot sun in this window in the summer. So I think it's happy here. And I'm very happy that's on my desk because I get to stare at it every day. That is my Hoya compacta. My bonus Hoya is my Hoya Crimson Queen. This is my favorite of the like Carnosa variegated variants, because there's also a Crimson Princess. But the Crimson Queen, I just love the variegated margins. I think it is so beautiful and elegant and happy. This is sitting in an east-facing window. I love it. And Hoyas will get a little wrinkly and thin when they need to get watered. Next are my philodendrons. I have two philodendrons that I love dearly. First one is my Philodendron Brazil. This hangs out on the top of my fridge in my kitchen with western exposure. I'll tickle my throat. And it loves its life. It's grown so much. It was probably about here when I got it. So a lot of growth. Some of it's pretty small because it doesn't get a ton of light. But I love it so much. The Brazil has this beautiful lime green variegation on it. It's very simple. And the next few plants I'm going to show you are just very dramatic when they need to be watered. They look like this. This is a golden pothos. And they just wilt when they need to be watered, and then they perk right back up. All of these looked like this one yesterday. Yesterday was a big watering day, and now they look happy and healthy. So that was my Philodendron Brazil. The next philodendron is one that I almost gave up on. I'm so glad I didn't. And this is my my Philodendron Lemon Lime. Can you handle it? When I got this, it was maybe 6 leaves, and now it is so beautiful. This is currently hanging out in our bedroom with an east-facing window, and again, it also has southern-facing windows. But again, we have very close neighbors, so the south doesn't really impact it at all. It needs to get repotted. It's still in a 4-inch nursery pot with this beautiful cash pot on top, covering it. And it's just happy and loving its life. And again, it'll get just really dramatic when it needs to be watered. And I love philodendrons like this because they have these heart-shaped leaves, and it's just so sweet. I originally didn't like this plant, but I'm so happy that I kept it around because it's one of my favorites now. Philodendron Lemon Lime. Next is my favorite Pothos, and that is my Marble Queen. This also needs to get repotted. Actually, all my plants need to get repotted. This hangs out in a northwest facing window on a bookshelf. This is a Marble Queen. It has the white variegation. It's a little duller because it doesn't get a ton of light, but it is so happy and is constantly giving me new growth. I love her so much. So those are my favorite trailing vining houseplants that are affordable, that you can find just about anywhere, any of your hardware stores, any of your nurseries or garden centers. I have houseplants. They're just very easy to find in person, and I think that is so important when you're starting out with houseplants, because it's just hard to know what you're looking for and you get to pick out your favorite specimens. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.